All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Let's do this 10 and L coaching show Friday morning. Christoph in the booth with me. How's it going, my friend?
Hi Pete, thanks. Been going good and bad, I guess. Since last week, NL10 has
All
gone
right.
quite well, really well. Let's put it this way. Bankroll wise, I think last week I had on GG Poker like 800, and I'm now at 850, and I lost 250 playing NL25. So that gives you the
So
picture.
you won like 30 buy-ins at 10 and L.
Something like that. But I mean, I'm counting cash back, so probably a bit less. But yeah, something like that. But yeah. So the rule that I set, I don't know if it's a good rule, but I like it and I will stick to it. Is when I reach 1,000, I do a shot at 25 NL,
Mm-hmm.
and I stop when I'm getting below 800, and I went back to 750 and I stopped,
Yep.
and that was 2 days ago, and I lost it in 3 hours maybe. I don't know. Uh,
Seems
I
reasonable.
don't think I tilted, but maybe I did. Unfortunately, for the viewers, for me, for everyone, I was tilted, so I didn't extract the hands from GG Poker or thingy. And this morning it's down, so I couldn't send them to you. So it's really a shame. And we decided that we will analyze them next week.
Yeah.
Uh,
Really sad because I
but
wanted to do the 25 and L shot, but I thought today we'd just talk about like some recent hands and the process of moving from 10 to 25. Like clearly it's not that big a jump, and its variance, the fact that you just got smashed at the higher stake, predominantly could be some mental game stuff in there, but like the technical skill gap isn't huge. How have you found it though? Have you found there's like more regs, better regs, less fish? Like what have you found?
the only thing that I can definitely notice is more overbets. I would say that's it. The rest, I don't know, the same amount of fish, same amount of regs,
Yeah.
just probably the regs put you under a little bit more pressure. And I don't know if, I mean, like you say, there must have been some bad variants
Yeah.
here, and it felt like they always had it, which
Yep.
is not always the case, and etc. And I ran into trips against over trips, like sets over against over set.
Yeah.
And, I mean, everything you can imagine, as you can imagine, kings against aces, all of these things. So it's a bit frustrating, but I don't feel bad. I'll get back there, and at some point it will work.
Yeah,
It's
definitely. You've got the right attitude. I
yeah.
think your game's more than good enough to win at 25 and L already. But I do think that you need to avoid falling back into old passivity habits and stuff like that, because like to beat the rake you do need to be extracting edge left, right, and center. And that is going to mean scavenging and winning lots of pots, attacking where we need to, and value betting properly as well. So those were the main skills we were working on in the last couple of weeks for those of you who didn't tune in. And yeah, let's get into some hands. Let's hear how your poker brain is developing. It's been a rapid progression so far, I would say. Don't know if chat would agree, but I think your skills have been developing. Let's see if we're still on an upward trajectory skills wise, even if we've not had the best 25 and L shot. So,
Can I ask you about one hand? Of course, I don't have the replay, but that happened yesterday.
mhm,
Was my last hand of yesterday, and I don't know if it was well played or not.
mhm.
So I had King Jack of clubs. I raised on the cutoff, big blind called, and the flop was Queen 10 9 with two hearts. I bet two X spots.
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
that's correct.
not really the board for it. So 2x pot is for the blank low boards and the double Broadway. Queen 10 9 is actually triple Broadway because the 9 acts as a Broadway, and that's it. I know a 9 isn't a Broadway technically, but if you think about the effect it has on the board, forget the fact you have King Jack, just think about range against range. Villain has loads of straights on Queen 10 9, right?
Yeah,
Straights are
okay.
abundant. So therefore, your overpairs, your unique hands, aren't going for 2x pot, throw all the money in. It's just an equalized spot. So Queen 10 5, 2x pot over bet flop strategy is fine. Queen
Okay.
10 9,
Get it.
no. But okay,
Okay.
it's not going to be a disaster to do it with the nut straight at 25 NL. So yeah, fine.
It was 10 NL, but okay.
Okay.
So I bet that came. The turn was the Queen of Clubs, which gave two clubs. I think the Ten of Clubs was there. I don't think it matters, but just
Mm-hmm.
saying how it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he checks. And here I wasn't sure, first of all, if I should bet pot or half pot. Because it feels like not changing, but maybe it's actually not changing. I feel it's not changing because of my hand, but maybe it's not that not changing, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so it's a more nut changing spot, but um like theory wise, the thing is if you size down, what the solver will do is it will realize that you've sized down and it will raise its like straights and boats, and it will also bluff raise because it understands that it has like a nutted range that it's attacking you with, and therefore it's going to have bluffs. The thing is, like, you really don't want to bet half pot in the real exploitative world at 10 NL because nobody's going to look at half pot and go, oh, I had a pair and a draw, I'm now going to turn it into like a massive bluff. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And you just need to win the maximum against all of the Queen X hands that are going to be very bad at folding because of their high absolute hand strength. So while the Queen does make some full houses and you no longer have the nuts, it makes what was top pair now trips, and it makes those hands incredibly unlikely to fold by river. So just go bigger here. Like, I prefer pot massively to half pot. But I do think in theory it doesn't matter, but I think in practice it matters, and you just need to go for the big sizing. Don't rely on them to build the pot for you in these spots.
Okay, so I went for pot, I got called, and a brick came on the river.
Mm-hmm.
He checked,
Uh-huh.
and here I wasn't sure.
So how good do you think your equity is?
I think it's very good.
Yep.
I think he never has queens. He has some nines and some tens and some queen tens and some queen nine, but
Mm-hmm.
it's rare. And I think with a queen, he's never going to manage to find a fold. Sometimes he has a worse straight. He's also going to
Yep.
call.
Yep.
That's what I thought. So I bet I went all in. He tanked forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then called with pocket nine.
God.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe I misanalyzed the situation.
Yeah.
Because if he tanked forever to call with that, it means that.
How big
But I
was
don't
all
know.
in as a percentage of pot?
A slightly overbet.
I wouldn't worry about
A
it. Yeah,
slight
it's fine.
overbet.
That's fine. If you went all in for 3x pot, we can argue about it being too thin. I think for slight overbet, you're absolutely fine with a nut straight here. And they're gonna raise some of their boats unturned. Like they're gonna slow play sometimes, but they're also more likely to raise a boat unturned than they are to raise Jack 8 unturned or whatever. So yeah. Yes, we're talking about a hand, Diego, that Christoph played yesterday that we don't have access to because GG is down and we can't access it. So every hand we talk about today, you guys will just look at the Ace Jack pre-flop and we'll talk about the hand. So next time, Christoph from last night, let's go. No, we're kidding. We're gonna play this hand for you. Guys, calm down. They're all like on their keyboards. Calm down. It's fine. Lamb stock mix, get in the call. Do you want a Zoom link, bro?
But
Coming in?
my apologize. From next time, I will always do the extract the day before.
Even if you're
Because
tilted,
now
you will diligently go on like a good boy, click all the sessions, download them, and import them into PT4 as you sit there seething and rocking back and forth in anger.
I wasn't even tilted yesterday, so yeah, there is no excuse. I just didn't cross my mind that it could be down. It's the first time. It won't happen anymore.
Yep. If you want to see Lamb Stock Mix come on the stream and work with me and Christoph this morning, say so in the chat now, or forever hold your peace. Okay, so we have Ace Jack off. We make a theoretically break-even-ish 3-bet, but in real life, I generally like it. And we go to 5-4-3. Thoughts?
Thoughts? I think that so it's a very connected board, but very low. None of us is gonna hit it very often, so it's good for anyone who has an over pair. I think it's the type of flop that if I bet, I should bet quite high because I want, yeah, quite high. I feel like when I bet, he's gonna. If the reason why I want to bet quite a lot is because I want him to. I'm not gonna get him away of his pocket pair with one bet ever. But I kind of want him to fold if he has two overcards. And with Ace Jack, it's tricky. So I'm thinking now, I don't remember what I did, but I feel like I don't think the hand is strong enough to check call, but maybe it is. So it feels like either I bet now or I just check fold, but I'm not sure.
So
That's
if
what I
villain
feel
bets
now.
third pot, is the hand strong enough to check call?
I feel that it should, that I should, because it give him a free. Yes,
Yeah, so
probably
you'd need
yes.
20%, you'd be ahead of some bluffs, your overcards would often be good, and the deuce would often be good. So there's no way that this is a fold against third pot, right? At
Yeah,
20%
yeah.
required. The other question is, like, there's a line you're missing from your analysis that you could also take here. I'm not saying it's right, but there's another line that you should consider here, apart from check, call, and bet.
Uh, I guess the only one that I didn't mention is check raise,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yep.
I'm it's true. I don't consider it.
Mm-hmm.
That's I plead guilty.
So why would check raise possibly be viable in theory at some frequency? Like, why could that be an option?
Because it fits my hand quite well in a way that it's a bluff that will make him fold lots of hands that are better than mine, because it will sound very scary, and I have redraws against all the hands that are going to call me.
Yep.
Is my
Good.
guess.
Very good. So my instinct here is that against the reg, and even against like some fish, like tighter fish, I kind of want to start attacking this spot. I want to go circling back to what you said initially. 5-4-3 isn't quite neutral and good for overpairs in the same way that 8 deuce deuce is, for example. Because on 8 deuce deuce, if villain has sixes, he's drawing to 2 outs. If villain has 6-5, he has nothing. If villain has 8-7, he's like practically dead against aces. Here, villain can have 4s, 5s, 6-5, 7-6, 5-4. Like, there are hands in villain's range here that absolutely crush your overpairs or will crush your overpairs on some runouts by the river, and like quite a few runouts. So this is night and day from like 7 deuce deuce. There's a lot of check on this board in theory. However, betting big is still okay, and check raising with an overpair is still okay. We're not going into our shell and trying to avoid getting stacked here with kings. We're just acknowledging that overall our range has less equity, and we will start with a check more often theoretically because of that. With ace jack, all the lines are okay against third pot. You can go check call, check raise, you can go bet. I think I would just opt for half pot, blast it all off here quite frequently, because one, I think this pool's gonna over raise with nutted stuff by the river and like not slow play enough, and two, I think they're going to overfold on many runouts with like the 5x, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks region. There's gonna be a lot of runouts that are quite good. So my initial impression here against a reg at 10 or 25 an L would be just to start by betting and triple on a lot of runouts. Not a 6, there's some runouts that we wouldn't want to do that on, not a 7, but like on a jack, you can triple for value. On a king, you can triple as a bluff. On a queen, you can triple as a bluff. On a 10, you can probably triple as a bluff. On a 5, 4, or 3, you can probably triple as a bluff. Then some overcards will come in river. There's lots of runouts that are good for like continuous aggression here from you, and then there are ones that are bad. So I'd start the betting train here probably against the rig, and then just like gauge the runout whether it's one I want to triple or not. Because I think there's runouts are kind of night and day. They're chalk and cheese here in this sort of spot, and you want to be very runout conscious as you're progressing through this hand.
So first of all, these are definitely the spots in which I'm the least comfortable. It's just they don't happen. I guess they're every time a bit different when they happen, and I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just very lost, I
They're
must.
difficult spots, and like I don't think the edge from like tripling off here is like something that is amazing or whatever. It's just against the right opponent. There are lots of future permutations where there's a ton of fold equity. It's just something to be aware of, and then there's ones where there aren't as well. So it's just like starting by bet here is fine. Check raise, check call are both fine as well, and I don't feel too strongly about what we do. I think this is fine.
It's just something from what you're saying. It almost feels like, okay, just don't look at your hand, because my hand is almost irrelevant here in what you're saying. Like, just triple barrel as a bluff. So why don't I do it every single time with every single hands? I'm just pushing it to the limit, but it feels from what you're saying that, okay, a king is good, a jack is good, I guess an ace is not
Well,
bad.
you're
Like,
confusing texture and hand. Like there are lots of runouts that are good for you to triple barrel and are good for fold equity, regardless of what you have. And then there are runouts that aren't. When you have ace jack, you're going to have a higher EV for a line like that than if you have queen nine of diamonds. So if you have queen nine of
why?
diamonds, because with ace jack, you have two overcards against tens. So there are branches of the tree where you actually hit. These are part of the game tree when you embark on a betting line. Is like hitting the jack and getting paid off is much better than hitting a nine. Because when you hit a jack, you will cooler other jack X like king jack, queen jack, and jack 10 suited that floated your flop bet. You will be ahead of tens and nines. But when you have queen nine of diamonds and you hit a nine, you're not ahead of tens or jacks and you won't be coolering any other 9x. So it's much better to have a jack than to have a nine here. They're not the same hand. And the line of triple barreling, while it relies predominantly on fold equity, there are other branches in that line that make the affect its EV as well, like hitting and implied odds and all of that. So that is part of the game tree here. So with queen nine of diamonds, it's not clear to me that betting flop and turn is good. I don't think it is actually. But with ace jack, I think it is good. A spot can be overfolded a bit, but like an awful hand that should never bet turn in theory, like queen nine of diamonds, could still be a mistake to bet turn if it's only slightly overfolded or moderately overfolded. So it really does matter what your quality and quantity of outs are when you're on an early street like the flop, because it's very central to your EV what happens when you hit your jack compared to what happens if you
Okay.
hit your nine when you have queen nine of diamonds. That's a very important thing. Your EV is, you know, many big blinds higher on the jack of clubs turn when you have ace jack than on the nine of clubs turn when you have queen nine.
Got it. Okay.
And yes, queen nine without backdoor is not allowed to bet check raise here in theory because it doesn't have as much robustness to bail it out to help it. The game tree is like it's more diverse than just we're bluffing, so we only care about the branches where he folds. Like that's not true. We're semi-bluffing whenever we embark on a line like this on the flop because we might get there. And
Okay.
I don't think it's right to just triple off blindly with any hand. I do think that there's some standard here, but I don't think the standard is like massively high. It's not like you need 8-7 of clubs to do it or anything like that, or king queen of clubs, like two overs with the ace. Yeah, that's enough for like to start piling some money in being a good idea, I think.
Yeah, okay. I'm quite sure I didn't do that, but
As played, we check the turn. So I think the 10 turn, like let's analyze how this is for ranges. Like how good a card is this for small blinds range in this matchup after flop goes bet and call?
uh,
What does it change? What aspects of the range versus range battle does this card affect?
I I'm not sure. I feel that Venus is gonna have more tens than me, but I'm not
More
100%
pocket
sure.
tens or more 10x?
More tens overall. Just the concentration, maybe not more in terms of more combo, but as he has fewer combos, I think more concentration of tens.
Okay, do you not think that a lot of hands containing a 10 are folding here?
Yeah. I didn't think about that. I only thought about preflop.
Right, so you want to go to the most recent filtering point and hand read, make sure you're hand reading from there. You can imagine what the
Yeah,
base range was pre, but you've got to hand read from what happened on flop too.
yeah. Yes, you're right. Apart from pocket 10 and maybe some ace 10 with backdoors, I guess they would fold.
Mostly, yeah. So the 10 is a decent card for you, even though it hits pocket 10s, which is not great. And 10s is a very likely, nothing's very likely because there's lots of different hands in range, but proportionally it's one of the more likely hands. Not great, but when they have 8s or something now, the 10 is more reason for a 10NL player to fold. They shouldn't really fold too many of their pocket pairs to a turn barrel here on this texture at all, but some of them will. So I think the 10, it's not as good a card for your range as a Jack, Queen, or King, which are like the ones you hit really often with your flop bluffs, but it's kind of on the way to being one of those cards. And it's definitely a better card for small blind in terms of hitting one pair than it is for cutoff. And so this is a card that is like one of the more green light cards. So besides that, you have the Ace of Hearts, which means that
Yes.
villain can't have Ace Queen of Hearts, Ace Jack of Hearts, which are never going to fold the turn. That's a great thing. And you have 2 overcards to the board. So if villain has King 10 of clubs or whatever, you have a decent amount of redraw. You also have the deuce. To me, this is a very clear turn barrel because you have a lot going on still. Decent, a favorable card that gives you more fold equity, probably. And if you check, yeah, it's not ideal. There's not a clear way of continuing here if you check. So as long as the fold equity is relatively good here, and I think it is, I'm just going to barrel this turn.
I find this incredibly hard. But I agree with all your points. It just feels like I need to study these spots very specifically because coming to all of these conclusions while playing is so hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like when I play bridge, I just don't have the muscle memory. I can't figure it out in game unless I tank for 20 minutes at the table. They get mad at me when I do that, the old people, so I'm not allowed to do that. So for you here, you have like 15 seconds on the time bank, and the way to find something like this in 15 seconds is to understand that bluffing when you're out of position is usually just a function of having enough equity to bail you out when it doesn't work, and having in the card or the run out being decent enough for your range that the fold equity will be reasonable. And if those two things are true, that the fold equity is reasonable because the turn wasn't a 6, for example, and you have equity that can bail you out when it doesn't work, then it's not going to be bad to bluff. It's just not. And you don't need to know how good, you don't need to be too nitpicky with your combos. You just need to understand that redraw plus a favorable-ish run out equals barrel, and it's fine.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna send Sam the link. Where are we? So yeah, as Diego says, 6s and 9s are now underpairs, and that does affect their strength and how likely they are to fold. A lot of players are quite binary in that, like, if they still have an overpair to the board at these stakes, they won't fold. And if they don't, then they will fold. So, if a villain has 8s here, there are some regs out there in the pool that will always fold 8s on a 10 turn that will never fold 8s on a 3 turn. That's a thing.
Okay.
As played, yeah, I think we have to fold here. Hi, happy feeling. How's it going?
Hello, hello.
Enzo Fire says, hi, Carrot Corner. Like and appreciate your videos. Can you make a video regarding when I should fold my big hands? Yes. One thing that might help you would be to actually dispose of the concept of big hands, because big hands is an absolute hand strength concept. And it might be better just to say, when villain, check jams the river all in, there are no big hands other than the nuts. And if I don't have the nuts, I might have a bluff catcher now, and it's no longer a big hand. So big hand itself can actually be a dangerous term. Okay, so we have. Why does this hand seem familiar to me? I don't remember. I wouldn't have seen this before, would I?
I don't know about your filter.
No, I don't think I've seen it before. Because I have a filter on from last week, like the 11th.
Okay.
Okay, so we're big blind against hijack. What do you think on flop?
So, first of all, in my pool, I feel that when they bet small like that, usually the hand is weaker. That's just. But now in theory, he's. Okay, what went through my mind is that on this board, I'm not always ahead, but very often. And he's going to continue with a big part of his range. There are lots of draws. There are. With the queen, it's going to be hard to fold. So I thought I wanted to check raise for value.
Yeah, okay.
That's what happened. But now I'm thinking that maybe it's not such a good idea because my hand is strong, but not that strong, and I don't really want to make the pot get much bigger because there are lots of runouts that are not amazing, and I will be out of position in a very tricky thing. This situation when I might have to check and face a big bet
So
later.
what you're kind of saying
But I don't
is
know.
that if you check raise here, you will not put it. You won't just go blasto all the way till you're all in. You'll feel like your hand has reached its ceiling and needs to slow down at some point on most runouts. Is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Therefore, it can't be mandatory to raise the flop. The hands that have to raise the flop, in theory, are the ones that like need all the money going in, and they're worried that like there's not a better way to do that than just do all the blasting yourself. Here, if you had pocket threes on king 3, it would fit that bill because like you unblock a king, you just want all the money going in always, and the best way to do that is raise bet. With king 4, you can't get called by trips that you beat. You lose to all trips that call you, and the kickers of those trips are very likely to play by the river because villain will have king jack, and it's, you know, when an 8 and a 7 comes, the jack is playing along with the queen, right? Unless an ace comes, king jack's kicker is playing, king 10's kicker is playing on most runouts. So if you do build a really big pot here with king 4 against most sane opponents, it won't be that good.
Yeah, I agree.
That's not to say you can't raise the flop. You can, as long as you sort of, you know, don't play for stacks against like a non-whale with this hand. So I'm okay with raising flop. I'm okay with calling flop. I think the better your kicker is, the better it is to raise flop. Because you're going to block the outs of straights a bit, which is like a big part of villain's range, is like some sort of like combo draw, like ace jack of hearts, like jack 10, ace jack, ace 10. Like just having king jack here is better. That'll get there less often. Or if a straight does get there, you make a boat, you cooler villain, and that sort of thing. With king 4, I'm leaning call against like someone competent just to like bulk out my range a bit. I'm mostly just going to call this hand, and call down for the most part, right? Because I have a phenomenal bluff catcher. But I don't mind raising it 10 and L because people aren't going to be aggressive enough here. And just, you're right that they're going to struggle to fold a queen. It's not difficult to fold a queen, you know, sometime soon. But for
Yeah, I
some 10 and
agree
L
with all
players,
of
it
that.
is. So yeah, it's a fine raise, and you go kind of small. I mean, this is fine. There's no problem here. Now your hand's got thinner, right? Like it's dropped in equity, and the question is like, what sizing can we bet? Do we want to bet? And if so, what sizing can we bet? And here we have to think about like what worse hands are calling us if we bet big. So if we do this, like what's calling us that we beat here? There are some hands. I'm not asking that in a way to say like there are none, but like what are they?
Um, I don't know, not many, but like ace queen with the ace of hearts, I guess, and
Mhm.
maybe jack 10 with a heart. Mm, Not many
So
hands,
there's
to be
there's some
honest.
that you're missing. I think like there might be stuff like Queen Jack with the Jack of Hearts sometimes. There might be like Jacks with the Jack of Heart if it calls flops. There might be aces with Ace of Hearts, aces without Ace of Hearts, and you might just get called by Queen 10 of spades because people are bad at cards at these states. You might at some frequency. Not always, but not never.
I agree, but still, I'm not happy with this
But
play.
I think your bet's too big, and I think it's like there's no reason to do this because if you block the turn here, you will find out much better what you need to be doing on river. And if villain just calls, and if they just call quickly, you can find some sort of value bet size on river, maybe another block, and you can reach that investment ceiling. But there's just no way that putting out 3/4 pot in the dark with king 4 is the right way to go here. Even if it's like,
Yeah,
even if they do over defend here a bit, it's not enough for this to become the correct play. So yeah,
no, I agree.
why do you think you did this in game, given that you're kind of seeing it as a polarization error now?
So I like the idea of block betting, but somehow in my brain, block betting was only for the river. I never even thought about it.
Got you.
So it's kind of something new that is coming, and I like it. I think it's great, but I just it wasn't on my toolkit, I guess, and I like it a lot. And yeah, I can't say anything else than that. For me, it was either bet big or check, and maybe probably I should have checked. Now I realize. Uh, I have no
I think block
excuses.
bet's okay, and you can sort of custom size the block bet to be as small or as big as you want as well. And a very useful pattern here is that when you check raise the flop and then the turn comes through to a flush, you will have lost that nut advantage that you had from having all the sets and trips and things like that. And therefore, you'll be making more thinner value bets now. And villain will have like nuts. So it's like a nut equalizing card. So it's very common in theory for a check raise on the flop to be followed up with a third pot or half pot bet on a flush turn. That's a very common
Yeah,
motif.
yeah, I like it. I just didn't think about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
I thought about it on the river, and now it's an interesting river. It's an interesting river. Yeah, I feel like now I'm gonna lose way less often, chop a lot. Uh, I will not be caught, but though they won't call a big bet uh, with hands that are worse than mine. So I think I made a small bet, which in this situation I kind of like.
So let's use a bit of sort of deduction in this spot, a bit of like investigative work. So who's the person that calls ace queen on the turn? Who is that? What do they look like? What color are their eyes? No, I'm kidding. Like, well, what do they look like as a poker player?
Like the way the French call them, a VIP.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they are a buffoon of a player. Yes.
A VIP. We are much more polite in
A
France than in Scotland.
stupid player. Yeah. So
Yeah.
who? What does a nit do, or tight reg do with ace queen of diamonds on the turn?
Default.
Okay. So if villain is on this river with a queen, who are they?
No, I agree. I fully agree. Now, but I guess it's my brain. Now I'm ahead of the heart, so I'm hoping they have a heart, which is wrong. But that's probably what went. I was more hoping to be called by a heart than by a queen.
Right, but you will, but you're
By heart, two
underestimating
hearts.
how often you'll be stationed by a queen because the people who have got here with the queen are just naturally very stationy people, and nothing changed on the three river for a queen. So if you're a calling station, i.e., a fish, and you call ace queen of diamonds on the turn, you probably also call it on the river based on who you are, right?
Yes.
Like if a dog
Yes.
runs at you and tries to bite you, and then you start explaining to the dog that it shouldn't do that, it doesn't stop trying to bite you. It's a bit like that,
Yeah.
right? Like it's started, the stationiness has started, that mental program's not just going to stop now. So people project some like gradual shedding of the combos, reg mentality, onto opponents when realistically it's binary. They either called you on the turn because they're a station and they don't believe you, or they didn't with a queen. So if they do have a queen here, they're probably going to call the river with it because they're a station. This is a horrible spot to bluff at 10-0 for that very reason. There are almost no call fold hands in this spot at 10-0. Now, if villain has a flush, they are very unlikely to fold on the river overall, because absolute hand strength is king for these people. So your river line is extremely unambitious, and you need to be betting more money here. It's very important that you make a big bet here.
Okay.
You're never going to lose, apart from like the odd king queen. So forget about that. That's not relevant. Running into king queen at this SBR isn't a relevant thing, because you're not going to fold anyway, even if villain shoves. Like, it's just not a thing. So the only thing that's relevant is how much can I bet against a flush or against a queen? And the answer is that you can bet lots, because anyone with a queen here that's hung around that doesn't have a heart is a station. Someone with a queen that only hung around because they have the heart on the turn and wouldn't have otherwise will just probably fold regardless. And someone with a flush will have a hard time on average folding at 10-0 because a flush is high absolute hand strength. So let's put in 40 something big blinds here, at least.
Okay. Makes sense.
There you go. If they call you on the turn and they open that pre and they're the kind of player to have this hand, they're not going to fold on the river, and they might not even fold to bigger either.
It's funny what you say, because you're right. Let's say that. But when I made that bet and he called, I was probably happy, or I did well to size down, because now I got called.
Yeah, you ran into exactly the hand that might be elastic in villain's range. Like, yeah, okay, sure. If you could see his cards.
But maybe not.
And maybe he wouldn't be elastic,
agree.
exactly, because, like, it's a really bad call on the river here that he's made. A very, very bad call. And he's losing every single time against your range in this spot, probably, or almost every single time, against the way that, not even your range, but the way a 10-0 player plays the spot. Check, raise, bet on king, queen, 3-3. Who was asking me earlier, like, what are the spots I should fold my big hands? Okay, this isn't a big hand, right? It's queen of clubs, jack of hearts, but Enzo Fire, this is a spot you should certainly never pay off the river. And villain's made an egregious river call here. And you need to start understanding that, like, for you to catapult yourself out of these stakes, you've got to start punishing ruthlessly people that can't fold hands of a certain, like, hand strength, or they're committed and stationary and they can't fold. That's just such an important thing for you to exploit.
Okay.
Yeah, lots to unpack in that one. Good hands so far today, for sure.
Yeah, not great play, but good hands.
I agree, by the way, with Tom. Anyone who says bro, instantly ignore. I agree. Yep. If I see a YouTube comment, like, I'm scrolling through, like, YouTube Studio and I see it. Sorry, one second.
Who said bro? Enzo Fire is not really kind. Tough life. But he's probably right. That's not very professional what Pete's doing, is it? I hope nothing too bad. I wish I could share you saying so. Move right, left, center with Poker Tracker, but I have no control about anything. So, commercial break. Hoping everything is fine. Probably something with a baby. 10% of my money back. I'm lucky enough that Pete doesn't charge me, so I'm sure I'm gonna get 100% of my money back. But that won't make me rich. That will not make me rich. Okay, something I want to discuss with you guys. I moved recently from Stars to GG Poker. And while everything is worse on GG Poker, I feel the rake back is much better. But maybe it's because they still analyze that I was a fish. Is everything all right with the baby, Pete? We are worried.
It was just the plumber arriving to deal with the sink that's leaking, the kitchen sink. Baby's good.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, no, I'm still working with Christoph. No, he's playing really badly. Yeah, he undersized the river bet. Yeah, okay, I'll catch you in a bit. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, was I not muted there? Oh.
No, you were muted.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. No, I was just telling Andrea that the plumber, just to show him where the leak was.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. All right, next hand.
Another one of these hands when I'm gonna. I already hate it. I already hate it. I don't need to see the flop. I don't like the hand. which is bad actually. It shows that I need to really work on this. I feel like 3-bet pot out of positions are the hardest for me, at least.
So the reason that Christoph is playing GG from France is that he's not in France. He's in England.
Oh yes.
Yeah, these spots are like they're okay spots, they're good spots, but they're not like as exciting as they would be. Like if you have this hand heads up, you're more excited than when you have it three-way a little bit, at least in theory, because people should be a lot tighter at paying you off with worse three-way. So I like betting flop. Definitely would bet flop. Don't check and expect people to bluff this situation three-way. I like it.
And what size? I'm thinking now, just as we watch it, maybe it's a bit small when it's three-way because exactly that, like call, and now there's so many cards that I will hate.
Yeah, but they won't fold to bigger on those cards mostly with the stuff that catches up. Like if they have king queen and the turn comes a queen, like probably they weren't going to fold flop to 20. And if they have ace 10 and the turn comes a queen, probably they weren't going to fold flop to 20. So I don't think that protects you as much as you might think it does. I think that...
But what about betting 30? Even if they won't fold, if they call, I'm happier because now, okay, whatever comes, I'm shoving the river and
well,
the turn.
Your life is simpler, for sure. But if you bet 30 and they fold ace jack, that's kind of a disaster, right? And like the urgency here is not that high. Most turn cards, you're very happy just betting again. I think your sizing's fine. I think you could go a bit bigger though as a sort of exploit. In theory, this is fine. I think you could go bigger as an exploit and just like get called by ace queen now. I think people will be a bit underreactive to sizing here. I do like going bigger, but not for the reason that I'm trying to avoid discomfort later, but just that I want more money going in now against hands that I don't think are sensitive to sizing. But I wouldn't go 40 because then I think you're starting to just like value cut yourself against too many hands.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the reason to go 40 is to facilitate the stack, the pot growth to the point where you can get it all in. But here you can get it all in anyway because you're in like a big pot three-way and there's just less benefit.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is fine. On this turn, I don't think this is too thin, but you could go smaller. So that hand came up with Justin last week where he sort of said, if you go a bit smaller, sometimes they will feel like they can't fold, but then they're committed and they'll shove or they'll call and call river. If you go this size, this is possibly how you get a sticky guy to make a good laydown with ace jack or a sticky guy to make a good laydown with king 9. So I think I would just go half pot. I don't think there's a downside. You can get the rest on river. You'll just shove river anyway. And it might just back them into a corner, expand the range you're getting value from, because you don't need to pot grow. And you don't really need to deny that hard here. You don't need to bet pot to deny here either. So I think half pot's better.
Mm.
If it was double flush draw, low board, and you have jacks, like, okay, shove the turn, sure, because you really do need to go pot deny now. But here, there's not enough hands in their range that you need to go this sizing to deny equity to, and you might be
Okay.
reducing the size of the range you get called by.
Okay, makes sense.
Do you fall prey to the neatness fallacy, where like if there's pot left, it feels neat and tidy to put in pot, and it's like tempting to do it because a lot of people do it at your level?
I don't think I do.
Okay, good.
Maybe, but I'm not sure. I don't think.
Yeah, let's guess villain's hand. Diego thinks King Jack. Someone thinks Jack Jack. What do you guys think? What's he got? I'm gonna guess that he has King 10 suited. Because they're all stations.
I hope you're
Hope
wrong.
I'm wrong. Jack 9 of hearts, yep. That's a hand that your line did maximize against, by the way, but like there aren't enough of those.
Yeah, okay.
How do we run like Michael Mizrachi? How do you pronounce his name? I know he's called the Grinder. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's pretty absurd, right? He had like 10 million at some point, and like the biggest other stack was like 100,000 or something. It's pretty ridiculous. I didn't watch any of it because I find watching tournament poker like the worst thing in the world. Like I can't imagine anything worse. But yeah, good for him. Good to see like an old school guy, old school TV poker guy, like known guy from back in the day, prevail in a massive field. It's cool to see it. Imagine it was Helmuth. Imagine it was Helmuth.
So do you still follow all of this? Did you watch it? Do you watch the highlights?
Nah.
Are you still interested? Do you still love poker?
Okay, now we're getting deep. Do I still love poker? No. No, I don't love it anymore. I like it.
Okay.
I think it's an interesting game. I think it's a great thing. If you're into it and you can do it for money and like you really, really enjoy it. I don't love poker enough to like be a professional poker player. So if I didn't have Carrot Corner, I didn't have like the business and all of the stuff and teaching. I love teaching, right? Let me get that straight. I love teaching and I love teaching poker. But I don't love poker enough to be able to like do it full time, even if that was a good idea for me. But I like it and it's still interesting and it's a great job to have. But I don't love it like I love bridge these days, and I don't love it like I loved it when I first started. I'll be totally honest, I don't hate it. It's not just a tool. That's too far on the other end of the spectrum. It's not just a tool. I like it. I think it's cool. But I think love is too strong for like the way I feel about it these days.
Okay.
Do you still love bridge?
Yeah, I think so.
I
yes.
think you do as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I find that I don't know how to explain, but watching. I mean, right now I really like poker. I don't know if love is the right word, but I can't watch the World Series. I find it too slow, too boring.
Yeah.
Watching it live, I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just.
It's not a spectator sport. It's an awful sport when it comes to like the live format of the game, because like if I go and play live poker, I'm just left with the feeling of what a bad game it is. Like full ring poker is a terribly designed game, right? Because you're sitting there and you do nothing for 3 hours sometimes, or 50 minutes, or whatever it may be. How can a good game involve 7 of the 9 people to the table just folding terrible cards pre? How can that be a good game? That's why we've had to create Zoom. We've had to create a format of the game where you can play multiple instances of it at the same time and in quick succession to counter the fact that it is a bad game in its natural state of 9 guys sitting around a full ring table. It is a bad game.
I don't know. You're a bit harsh. You're a bit harsh.
Yeah, maybe.
Because a lot of it, when you play live, is about it's 9 guys sharing something in common, having a nice time together. I think
That
that's what
doesn't make it
poker
a good
mostly is.
game. That just makes it a good experience to sit with 8 other guys and share something in common. Like, I get that, but if you were playing Settlers of Catan, right, with 3 guys, with 3 friends,
No, I disagree with you because then it's much more complicated. You need to explain the rules to everyone. Have you tried playing that game with people who have never played before?
yeah,
It's a nightmare. They don't understand. They want to give up. They get tired. They get bored. They have to do things all the time. Whereas at the poker table, the fish, it's a great game for fish. They will win every once in a while. They have a great time.
agreed.
They don't need to play and be focused all the
Okay.
time. They can have a beer. I think it's a much better game, actually. Not in the terms of the game
Is
itself,
that the
but it's
game though? Is that I would say that that's not the game being better. I would say that like the game creates an environment that's more fun for fish or something like that. But the actual game, if we're assessing like how good are the rules at this game and the strategy of this game at creating a fascinating strategic thing, which is kind of what I'm talking about, then I don't think it's a good game. But if we're talking about like that, then yes, it's a good game for that. So I guess that we mean different things to some extent.
yeah. But it's like blackjack. I mean, I have a great time when I go to the casino and play
Agreed.
blackjack
Same.
for 3 hours.
We're
The
very
game is not
similar.
great,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I enjoy talking with the people, cheering with them. Even
Yeah.
it's nice.
I
I
think
like being a fish
I think
at blackjack.
blackjack is a great game in the sense that it's so fast and furious that you're never bored and you're always interested enough to keep doing it, right? Like when you're eating a meal, let's say you're eating a pizza, you could say, "Oh, eating a pizza is a bad game because there's not much to it, and there's no strategic elements, so there's very few moving parts to eating a pizza." But eating a pizza is great because your brain is just constantly like dopamine, dopamine, yep, yep, good, 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 good stuff, good stuff. And blackjack's like that. Like I've had, okay, YouTube. We do not encourage people to play blackjack or even poker or any form of game. This is an educational channel, but I have had 12-hour blackjack benders before and I've enjoyed them.
Okay, let's move on to the boards, to the hands.
Okay. I'm like
This
that
is
teacher
very
that if you
multi-way.
derail him, he never talks about the school subject again, so you just need to keep asking him questions in school. Right, so we have a 4-way pot with ace jack off here. And everyone checks. We go into the king of clubs turn. Call. I like it. I'm not really thinking about turning my hand into a bluff here because I don't rate fold equity at 10 and L on wet textures because people aren't that great at recalibrating their hand strength. And you either need to like do some insane bluff or you need to fold. And while it's very tempting, and you might look at this chat and you might be like, well, yep, we have the ace of clubs, we have a jack, like the problem is that your opponent just has straight or a flush most of the time. And good luck making them fold it at 10 and L, so you should fold. And I'm sorry, I know you want to go for it. I know it's cool. I know you looked it up and you found a blocker and you want to pull the trigger because it makes you feel like you're good at cards. But actually, it's just losing. Because if you risk 95 to win 34 in this spot, you need 75% fold equity. And you're not going to get it.
So it means that with ace, with 2 clubs, we would jam.
Yes. Yep.
Not try to find some funky sizing that they will like
No, you just
45
jam.
or something.
You just jam. If you have like the nut flush there, you just jam and they don't fold a flush generally.
Okay.
Like going for a bluff here is like I see this so often from the type of student that learned poker in the GTO era, hasn't sat in a card room, hasn't absorbed like what the 10 and L culture really is, but started at 10 and L and they're like, I'm doing the thing I saw the solver do. This makes me a good player. This is good. And I'm like, that loses 17 big blinds of EV or something. Like it's It's a shame we can't do it at this stake against these guys, but we really can in spots like that. So any of you that wanted to shove the river there, you all get an F. God, I hate dogs. My dogs are barking. Hate my dogs. And the dogs in the kennels across the road, like the neighbors' kennels, are barking right now, and it's like a horrible medley of dogs barking.
We can't hear it. Don't worry.
Well, that's good for you. Check raise is great here. Yeah, B40, like whatever this is. I'm not worried about the sizing here. It's probably being used too often. This hand is a very good check raise. And you need to decide whether you want to keep going. I don't mind to give up, honestly. When they call the check raise, it won't be an amazing spot. You do have the sort of hand that can go for it again in theory, because you have, if you go huge here, you're meant to get fold equity from some top pair, some under pairs, and then you've got like the 4 to bail you out, right? Like that redraw. The problem is they probably overfold under pair on the flop a bit here, and then don't fold a king on the turn. So I actually think I'm fine with the give up on turn here. Awkward. How should you analyze this spot? It's a bit of a street poker spot.
Yes, so the bet was really small. When I saw a lot of, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel I quickly. So I didn't really consider bluffing him out. Like I was like, he could be. Yeah, I didn't want to bluff. I didn't feel like bluffing was right. And I was quickly calculating the odds, but sometimes I'm drawing dead, and that's really, really bad implied odds wise. So I felt it was just not worth it. Also, it's tempting when they only bet 5. Probably I should bluff some of the time. But what did he call with my raise? And that now he's betting 5. It's weird. It's I don't see many bluffs here.
Yeah.
That's how I felt
Yeah,
about
I
it.
think he usually just has like some hand that is made that he thinks is good, and it could be jacks, it could be a king, it could be pocket aces, it could be a lot of things, but I don't think bluffing is right either. I don't think it's a good fold equity spot. They've filtered already. They don't have that much air anymore. They have a lot of top pair. Their early position. It's just not a spot that, like, you can look at the small bet, look at your gutter, and be like, I can't call, I don't want to fold, I have to raise, but that's just like turning yourself into a cornered animal. You don't have to raise. I would eliminate raise here, actually, and I would just choose between call and fold. And if you call, the problem is that, like, I don't care about the reverse implied so much. I don't think we're losing here like a meaningful amount of the time if we hit a 4, but like, how much can we win on river if we hit a 4? Check raising is not going to work well because villain's going to check back the river a lot after taking this turn sizing, and then we have to like lead some gigantic thing. That's what we have to do. I don't know. It's I don't mind the way you've played this at all. It looks really weak and stuff, but like, actually I don't know if there's a better play at 10-L here against an early position player. The fold equity, the reason that the flop raise is good is that the combination of just folding villain off of 10-9 or ace queen or queen jack, and the turn being a 4, a diamond, a 5, a 6, or something a bit better, that's where it's really at. Villain calling in the turn being the 3 of clubs is the not worst situation. So you might say, why are we raising flop to check fold the turn? Because we got the not worst combination of actions and cards coming. And it's okay to just check fold your hand when that happens. Doesn't make the flop raise bad. So yeah.
Yep.
So a lot of the time in this pool, you attack when people are wide and weak, and then you stop attacking when they start filtering. That's kind of how we beat 10-L.
Okay.
And by the way, that 3-bet pot we looked at the start, there's lots of times there where they still have a low absolute hand strength hand later in the hand because it comes like a queen and a king, right? Like, or something like those overcards come. So that's why it's still not terrible to attack there.
I think I would have attacked a king or a queen, but the 10 wasn't as confident.
Yeah. No, I understand. And it's not as good a card, but it's still an okay one. And you've got enough going on. Anyway. Okay. This is creative. I don't hate it for what it's worth. If you keep the raise small here, and I'd go a bit smaller actually, they are betting range. They are going to fold a lot. They're probably going to overfold a little bit. They are cut off though. I prefer this against like button. But I think call's better with a hand this dead. And I think it's just because like they're going to be quite passive on turn usually if they don't have it. And I think you just do a bit better by just check calling. I think you just realize enough equity here for 4-1 almost you're getting here. I think call's a bit better. I don't hate this though. I think I like it more if it's button. Don't hate it.
So why do you like it more if it's button?
Because they just have more combos of like Jack 9 offsuit that they don't open and cut off that they're folding. They just have more offsuit cards that are bad. Or Jack 7 suited or Jack 5
so
suited.
When you say that, it means that you trust them to call this raise with, I don't know, ace queen offsuit.
I don't understand why you think I'm saying that.
Because I don't know.
Like all I'm saying is that if they're button, they have more like Jack 5 suited, Queen 4 suited in their range, right? That's a clear fold. So your fold equity is going to, on average, just be higher because people won't like adapt to the fact that they're button instead of cutoff. I don't know what they'll do with ace queen. Some might fold it, some might not. But overall, it's just better against button than cutoff. I'm not saying this is like really bad or anything. I don't think it is against cutoff, but the earlier the position, the worse this gets against this pool. The more auto folds, because they're betting range, right? The more auto folds they have, or they're usually betting range, the more auto folds they have, the higher your EV for raising. So if they have all of the combos of King 9 off, then raising is better than if they only have the suited combos of King 9.
So I guess your plan when you call is to check call or check fold depending on the runouts.
You can just check fold the turn if you call a flop. I'm just saying there's enough of the time it just goes check, or you hit a 3 that you can call the flop.
No, but it's fine. Let's say it goes check on a turn,
right.
and check bets, and one overcard came. I don't know which one. Let's say the queen of heart, and then the deuce of diamonds are the two cards that came.
Yeah.
And it goes check and check bet, and then you just call, I guess.
You can, yeah. One overcard's not great. Like, it's better if it's bricky, but like, yeah, it's close. That's a close spot, and I don't think it matters that much what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, even if they call board again with ace queen with a club, like that's fine. We're not trying to make that fold if we check raise here. The reason check raise is okay is that they will just have like a decent amount of auto folds. There's the 3. So another reason that like this is defensible on the flop is that the turn could be a 3. If you had 2 blank cards that could never hit a set, or you could see that the 2 3s were dead, they were like they'd been exposed by the dealer accidentally, you should never check raise the flop. Because even though it's unlikely that you hit a 3, your EV on the branch where you do is so high after check raising and getting called that it does matter. So even though it only happens 2 outs of the time, because you can win a whole stack when that happens after check raising the flop, it's still a part of the EV. I really like this. This is like, you're meant to go smaller on flush cards, like generally. But if they have a 10 or aces with a club or 2 clubs, there's just so many hands they're not going to fold here. I really like this play. Love it. Nice. See what I mean? It's only 2 outs of the time that the turn is a 3. But when it is, and they have a big hand, whether that be a flush on the 3 of clubs or a 10 on a brick 3, you just win everything. And so like that's what makes this sort of flop raise defensible. And then the question is like, is it better to raise or better to call? It's probably slightly better to call with this hand, I think, but I don't mind it. And by the way, it's not a problem not to have the 3 of clubs when the board is paired, because the 3 makes you a boat, and you want them to have a flush when the 3 brings a boat, right? Sorry, I'm just kind of rambling here, but yeah, hopefully you get the idea.
Yeah, I'm just. I hear your point, and you're being a bit nice, etc. But if I had only called, would I not win a stack? I don't know.
You might win a stack. It's possible that like Jack 10 checks back the turn because it was a club, and now you're just on the river and you can only make one bet and then they just call. Like that sort of branch happens a lot more. So you might win a stack, you might not. But if you check raise the flop, you win the stack on the 3 turn way more often. That's not the only reason you check raise the flop. You also get denial and you just get villain to fold a bunch. Like that's why it's okay.
Yeah, that was my reason.
Yeah.
It was denial. I mean,
I'm just pointing out that the 3 coming is not irrelevant. Like some people think it's irrelevant because it hardly ever happens, but like something that gives you an entire stack can't be irrelevant if it happens like half a gut shot of the time, you know, like 2 outs of the time. It's still important.
Yep.
So I think your default play should be to 3-bet here when you're deep with any hand that's like in GTO, this is a 3-bet call mix, right? You can do either. Don't know how familiar you are with big blind and small blind 3-bet ranges.
Yeah, quite familiar.
Yep. So I would default to 3-betting simply because they're not going to 4-bet enough. They're going to, the money flows clockwise more than it should. You're deeper, blah, blah, blah. I think it's just like, I just take this 3-bet as a default here.
Okay.
I'd always raise here. And that's because they're just...
Why?
Because you have a normal bluff anyway, and they're way overextending with their c-bet range.
Yeah, blinds against blinds is also another spot that is tricky, hard.
Well, everything is better. All of your outs are better. Like, your pair outs here are better because you're blind versus blind. So if you had, like, this hand against under the gun, the outs hitting a pair wouldn't be very good. But when you have it against small blind, it's much better because they have under pairs that have to bet call at higher frequency. They have like overcards. Like it's just having a pair draw is just better here. You also have the jack of diamonds. You have the 3-card straight draw. You just have a clear raise against pool here with this hand. You could call, but I think raise is better.
Got it.
Love it. Very good. Very good raise. Horrible.
But now I didn't follow through with it. I'm not sure.
I don't mind following through because, like, on this texture, what you're looking for is pair draws, right? Probably you want to have, like, Queen Jack or something here, mostly when you're bluffing in theory, because you have 2 overs to the 10. But Jack 9 is, like, reasonable. I don't think you want a diamond anymore on this node, though, because flush draws become so dead. So you probably just want, like, this hand is probably not front of the queue in theory, but yeah, I'm okay with check. I don't think this is a great fold equity spot. Yeah, I like it. Really good hand.
Okay.
Overall, though, chat, what do you think about Christoph's standard of play this week? What are your thoughts? What time are we stopping, says Sam. When do you need to leave?
Me?
Yeah.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
I don't need to leave.
Okay.
But I'm sure you guys can be entertaining without me, so you don't really need me.
No, you're the protagonist of the whole show. We need you. I think you're playing a lot better. Every week I think you're playing better than the week before, which is what we're looking for. A cruel game says massively improving week on week, loving the choices to fight for pots. Yeah, you're understanding now where to scavenge in these wide range battles, and we're seeing it, loving it. I know it's not worked out in those few hands we looked at, but it's not the point.
Yeah. Okay. So this one, I think I recall from because I'm getting better, but still not there, and especially after 3 bet. But I think it's a call with almost all my pocket pairs
Yep,
here.
yep, yep.
But I just hate it so much. I don't know how to play. I'm lost. I'm out of
Yep,
position in a big pot.
yep.
I'm very unlikely to hit trips. It's like another one. There are so many spots in which I'm uncomfortable, but these ones they happen all the time actually.
Yep.
Like small blind against big blinds, and I'm almost tempted to never raise in the small blind and folding all my hands, given how uncomfortable it is.
Yep.
I know it's silly and doesn't make sense, but just sharing what happens deep down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a nice feeling to know that you don't know what to do in all of the marginal spots that are going to happen next. That said, just this number up here is kind of the thing you always have to remember, and you have to hold this close to you. And when you're feeling
Yes,
uncomfortable, look at it and then be like, yeah, okay.
I kind of agree, but this number, as we know, as you know, as you've been telling massively in all your Carrot Poker School content, tends to need to be a bit bigger when you're out of position, just because you're not going to realize as much. And on top of that, there is rakes that is not recounted here,
Sure.
so it's actually much higher than this number, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. But usually villain has no pair and you have a pair. And as board again says, remember it's hard to make pairs no limit hold'em. So your pot entitlement here is way above 22%. So even though the number that you need in pot share EV is higher than 22%, it's still fine. Remember as well, like people will check the turn when they don't improve a lot of the time in these games. They are barreling sometimes, but they're not bluffing enough overall. So don't feel too bad about calling flop and folding a jack turn here, folding a queen turn. It's not a problem.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest mental leak. I'm thinking when I'm in this position, I'm thinking, okay, I call now, but what then? I'm gonna have to hope that he checks twice and doesn't improve with his two overcards. It sounds such a dream. It's like I'm dreaming. And whereas when I'm in the other position, I'm like, oh, I can't double barrel. He must have something, which doesn't add up. Like I'm aware that it doesn't make sense, but it's still what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you have these disconnects where something doesn't, you know it doesn't make sense, but it has power over you anyway, you kind of just have to knuckle down and use discipline. You know, if you're like on a run and it's getting tough, I know you're a runner, right? And like there's a tough part and you just really have to like make it through that and then you know it's going to get better again. Sometimes when these emotional programs are firing, we just have to be like, okay, I'm gonna like keep going even though there's a lot of noise, distortion, and uncomfortable stuff right now. I'm just gonna keep going. And then when I get to the end of the hand, that's job done. And I can feel a sense of like achievement there. So call the flop, make the best out of the turn, feel a bit shit about it, and then still feel accomplished that you played reasonably and you didn't like let these mental programs derail you. They're gonna be there, but don't let them derail you is really all you can do.
I think that's what I did actually, but I just hate
I
it.
know. You'll hate it less over time. You're never going to love it. You're never, ever going to love a spot like this. You're never going to like a spot like this. It just is what it is. It's medicine. Yeah, so we call again because we're getting an
Do
amazing.
we? Maybe I didn't. I
Well,
don't think I did.
this is
But
random
I agree.
line. There'll be bluffs. Like, you have sixes. Yeah, you call again on this card. This card is very good for your hand. All of his overcards miss. That doesn't mean he's going to stop betting them. And like, honestly, when people have aces here, kings here, they often bet bigger. Maybe not. Maybe he's freaked out by the nine. He can still have an overpair. But again, 22%, we're calling. Good.
Oh, I did go.
Awesome
I
hand.
just feel
Perfect.
victimized.
Perfect. Perfect hand.
I don't even know the results. Okay.
I mean, he absolutely valued hound us, but like perfect hand by us. Nevertheless.
Great, loving
Yeah.
life.
He played it fine. Like he got like kind of the max value here. And yeah, his play's like a little thin, but like he played it okay. And you played it okay, because you can't do anything different. You could have raised the flop. Like, I wouldn't have hated it, but like, yeah, you can't really do much differently here, to be honest. think call's better.
Great.
Yep. Glad to hear it, a Krill game. Glad to hear that you're liking the regular Friday stream. Definitely a good show. Not another Ace King
Sweet.
off 3-bet pot. Come on, man. How many more of these do I have to watch today? Yeah, and I don't mind if you want to size up here exploitatively as well. Like, it's fine. I don't mind it.
Is it better to size up exploitatively? Because I feel that if he has an ace, he's got an ace. Yep. And if he has a pocket pair, he's very often going to call a small bet and very often going to fold a larger bet. Yep. I mean, it might be biased, but exploitatively, I think that's the case.
No, that's true. If he has nines, it's better to bet small. If he has ace queen, it's better to bet big. But the thing about him having ace queen is that on most runouts, you can just keep betting. Some do kill your action, though. So the trade-off here is like, the turn was a 10 and it killed your action a bit against ace queen. You won a smaller pot than if you'd bet big on flop. Right? Or yeah, or okay. Like he has nines, you bet big, you didn't get a bet, but like yeah. There's Leon. How's it going? Worked with Leon last night, as I was telling you. Had a really fun bridge lesson. He is a Kiwi internationalist bridge player. And yeah, welcome to the chat. It must be the same day. Bit of a weird one because that was last night for me before I went to sleep, but for him it's like the same day, like he's not been to bed yet. That's weird. Hot on turn. Okay, I think you can. I think this is okay. I might go a bit smaller because this is just like a bit terrifying. The only reason I might not pick the sizing is it is very terrifying. Like, look at that sizing. Like, if you face that, how would you feel?
Terrified.
Yeah, exactly 35. Like, this is the kind of play I want to make if I wanted to, like, bluff someone. This isn't getting, like, psychological now. Obviously, there's no real difference between, like, 27 and 35 in GTO, like in EV. But I would pick 27 just because it's less likely to scare the shit out of them when they have ace jack. Like, I don't want ace jack to fold ever here, but if you go 35, it might sometimes.
Yeah, okay, got it.
But that's a very psychological small point.
Big point, actually. Big point. Psychology is a lot about maximizing value, I guess.
Definitely. Right, I'm going to nip to the bathroom for a sec. I'm going to play this hand for you to discuss with chat first, though. Queens. Check flop. Villain checks back. We small bet turn, but now let's not talk about that hand. It's kind of boring. Oh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say.
Great run out, right?
Do you just want to call, though, is the only thing, like, and then lead the turn? Like, that's the only thing, because, right.
Why is that? Why is that? Tell me.
Because my only idea here is that if villain has a hand like ace, queen, ace 10, queen 10, I don't want them to fold on the flop, and I don't think they're that likely to fold to a turn lead. But because this just looks terrifying, I think you're going to get two pair to fold much more with this line. The downside is that when they have like a flush draw or 10x of spades, you could be making more money if they have a combo draw here, maybe by going bigger, and like you obviously welcome the folds against those hands. So it's a trade-off once again that we have to weigh up.
Maybe I should go all in then.
Yeah, I think all in is...
Or call, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, all in is good. But then if you go all in, I feel like... I don't know. Do you get called by two pair? You probably do sometimes, you know, in this pool. Like, this might even look scarier to some people than all in. This just screams I have the nuts. Yeah, maybe, I don't know what's best here, actually. I think it's quite interesting. A weird spot.
I managed to make you think. That's
it's a weird one.
In itself.
Really weird one. If the turn's a spade, by the way, and villain calls this, we should check fold the turn, probably. It's kind of gross, right? But like, how do we ever win if we check the turn on a spade and villain starts betting into the protected pot?
But that's the thing. There are so many turns that are so action killing
Mm-hmm.
that maybe going all in is better. And we don't like an ace. We don't like a king. We don't like any Broadway card.
Mm-hmm.
We hate on the turn.
Yeah, I
Like
think all in. The more I think about
spades,
this, the more I like all in because I think like it looks less bluffy or it looks less nutted.
not it.
I think
Yeah.
people will call two pair sometimes to it because they're just like less scared of it. And if villain does have a combo draw, they have to call. Or if they do fold like a combo draw or a flush draw, that's a lot of denial we're getting. Yeah, I think I like all in actually.
Yeah,
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 I
I
like all in.
agree. I agree.
Cool. Right, let's find one that you can discuss with chat. No, not again. Come on, man. Right. No. Ace King, Ace King. I don't want to.
Okay.
Don't want to see it. Like whatever, whatever. Maybe it's a fold. Who cares?
Okay, this is getting interesting.
Okay. So already here, my instinct is to bet bigger than this because like I just want the pot growing more with top set in 10 and L, and I will boat up a lot, and I think they will over defend like some hands that are really dead. And yeah, I think I'm okay betting a bit bigger here. Maybe like half pot, but yeah, whatever. Okay, this is definitely the hand you should talk to chat about. So we pot the two big blinds flop, pot turn, and we. Do you remember when I tried to do that end play yesterday morning when we were doing bridge? And I like
Yeah,
could have just
yeah.
taken the finesse twice that I was going to take, but instead I constructed a world where the end play worked, and I tried to do it so I could feel good. Sorry, chat if you don't play bridge. Leon will know what we're talking about here, but no one else will. I feel like this is fancy play syndrome, but some fancy play syndrome is good. But I'll let you in chat decide together whether this is good or bad, and I'll come back in a second and pass judgment on it.
Yeah, okay. So on the flop, I bet small. It was like quarter pot or two big blinds into 7 or 8. I must confess that it's lazy thinking. It's just ingrained in me. Monotone board, just bet small. But I agree with what Pete said. We want to probably exploitatively. We want to bet bigger because when we bet small, it's just to get folds from all the hands that have not much and no spades and etc. But when we have jacks like that, we really want to be putting in more money against pocket pairs, other sets, and one spade hand like ace queen with a queen or ace of spades. They might call more, so maybe betting 3/4 is better. I just didn't think about it, but I like it. And when I make a boat and they make their spades, it's huge. Then on the turn, I made a boat, and I felt like because now they called the first time, now I thought they had this kind of hands with maybe one spades that are going to call, so I bet big, which I think was fine, and they called, and I was happy. But in my head, it was I was, I guess, targeting way too much, and I know Pete hates it, but I was definitely targeting a spade. So now what happened on the river is that I was trying to induce like looking scared, and I wanted them to raise with like a spade and only one spade. But now when I think about it, it's first of all it's very targety, and second of all the fact that it's an ace on the river, it's not great because this with the ace of spade they are going to call, so it doesn't even work anymore. So it's really stupid, very fancy play syndrome, and I hate it. Yes, that's what Board Again just said. I'm just now reading the comment. Ace of Spades is not raising me anymore. So I kind of had that in my mind, and I kind of disregarded. Like I looked at the river. Okay, it's not a spade, so now I need to induce, and it's just bad. What can I say? Yeah, he makes a lot of aces, and I want to bet more. Yeah, I agree. I should have bet, like, I don't know, 25, 30, even 35. It's bad. I'm guilty of playing like a fish. I agree.
Okay, so
Welcome back.
thank you.
So we agreed that playing for end play was terrible, and I should just have finished like a big boy. Especially that I made the same mistake as you yesterday when you didn't track a discard, and here it's the same. I kind of had my plan and I didn't even realize. Let's say there are some good cases for going for the small bet to induce. The ace is the worst card because with all of their aces of spades, they are just gonna call now because they have showdown value. They are not even trying to bluff anymore. So the ace is like literally the worst card to do that. If it was a bridge, a proper brick, maybe there could be, and maybe we can discuss that. Whereas it's an option. If the river is, I don't know, the 10 of
Yeah,
diamond,
then I
is
think
it
you should
is it
just check raise, right? Because then like they don't have a jack very often when you block it. If they have a worse boat, like fours or a flush, they're going to bet anyway, and you just check raise all in, right? There's still not.
why check raise or all in? Because I wanted them to try to raise me with the ace of spade, and the fact that I put 5 will make their raise much bigger, I feel, than checking.
Sure, but
That's what
but
that was
they
my
will.
reasoning, but the ace
It's not just the ace of
nullifies it.
spades; there's some other draws as well, right? That didn't get there. And one thing I would say is that at these stakes, when you bet, even if it's a small bet, you probably dissuade aggression more than if you check. I would think. So you probably face a bet from a misdraw a bit more often if you check than if you bet. That was my thinking behind check jam. Block jam and check jam are like tiny block jam and check jam are very, very similar lines. Like there's not a great deal of difference between them. And so like one of those lines is very good on a non-ace. On this card, yeah, like the problem is like there's all of this. There's less air for them to raise you with, way less air. And when they have the ace of spades, they're gonna call a bigger bet. So a bigger bet looks right. The downside of a bigger bet is it doesn't get enough in against flushes that just call. So I'm kind of torn here. But I think what we probably want to do is try to find a sizing that a flush will raise that an ace will call and build around that. And I think that's bigger than
5 was great
5.
for that.
Well, it's not the worst, honestly. It's better than checking because if you check, you win nothing from an ace, right? And I think a flush will still raise 5, but I wonder if we can just maybe bet like 12 and still get the call from the ace, or 15 and get raised by the flush. The problem is like when we no longer get raised by the flush, it's a disaster. The other line is just go all in and hope that like they never fold a flush, and substation sometimes calls you with an ace. That's the other option here.
I like it, to be honest. I wouldn't feel comfortable bluffing on the ace, bluffing all in because of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All in can never be too bad. Like if you're worried that this pool's so passive that they're gonna not raise third pot, don't even risk it. Like, because if you don't stack a flush that you're stacking with all in, it's just such a dramatic failure that like an EV, it's just terrible. All right, let's Sam into the call. Samuel
Hello.
Delamuel, what's up, my friend?
Bonjour. I'm good. Yeah. How are we all
hello.
doing? No?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, mate.
Yeah,
we
we
were.
can.
It's just a bit awkward because
I'm just not responding.
just talking about you there, and like then you joined, and it's just a bit awkward.
Probably.
No. No, I'm good.
No,
mate.
no, we won't, mate. I mean, serious.
I went for a cycle this morning by the canal, and I saw a car crash. Not a car crash, but I saw like I had to cycle through the remains of the car crash, like bodies everywhere and shit. No, I'm just kidding. It was like a minor car crash. But yeah, that was my morning.
I got a question for you, Sam.
Yep.
I think I saw that you have a Ura ring. Is that correct?
I have a Samsung ring.
Okay, Samsung Ring. Do you set yourself? I know you're a professional poker player. Do you set yourself rules such as if your sleep hasn't been good enough, or if you're not in good enough shape, you do not play because you shouldn't play?
I've never had to do that. I've done that to stop a session. Where if I just sort of feel a bit fatigued and I just feel sludgy, if I'm like, nah, I'm my heart's not in this, I'll stop. But that will also be combined with the fact that the games won't be that good. If the games are good and I feel well enough, then I'll always play. I never feel like shit really. I don't necessarily like I'm not always like at peak um awareness and getting 9 hours a day or anything like that. But usually when I wake up, I look at it on the phone and it tells me that I've had enough sleep.
Okay. Lucky
So
you. Lucky you. You don't have kids, do you?
absolutely not.
Okay. That explains this. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's why I got like that's why I bought it so it could mainly track my sleep so I know how I'm doing. 'Cause sometimes I used to wake up and I'd feel a bit sludgy. But when I have this ring, in fact, I feel a bit blur sometimes, but it tells me actually you're all right, and within like 15 minutes or something, I feel fine.
Good.
Like it
Okay.
is pretty accurate. You should get one.
I do have one.
Oh,
So
okay,
yeah.
cool.
And
Hmm.
on Monday, I didn't sleep well, and my ring confirmed that. And I told myself, do not play on Monday, and I didn't play, and I was quite happy with myself for not
Yeah, I
playing.
think that's very commendable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's really good. I think that's something that people don't do enough,
Mm.
I would imagine. You see a lot of live poker, like people just staying like way too long.
Mm.
I've been there. I've definitely done that back in the day. No, I tried to be actually as bookended as possible with sessions. I will start by a certain time, and I try to get to 1,000 hands. The only reason why I will ever play less or more 99% of the time is because either the games are really bad, so I'll stop, or the games are really good, so I'll carry on a bit.
Mm. What was I
Mm,
gonna say on
about
that?
the money in it.
No, it wasn't about money this time.
Money.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
no, for me, that's my conclusion. That's all it's about.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. It's about this, innit? It's about this, innit?
Give me some of that. Yeah, nice hammer.
Yeah, remember when that's what it was. Remember when Tall Matt got asked to leave the Hippo because he was on like a 20-hour
Yeah.
session, and they came up to him and were like, "Oh, by the way, you're only allowed to stay for 24 hours or whatever, so you'll need to leave
Yeah.
soon." And he was just like, "I don't want to. I'm fine. I'm on holiday. Leave me alone."
They did crack down on that, which I think is fair. It wasn't anything to do with like his behavior.
No.
I think they could see when people have been there for like X amount of time and they have to go and tap them on the shoulder
Yep.
and basically say, look, 1 hour left.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. The old slot machine flop. Don't see this every day, do you, Sam?
Very nice. Very, very nice. We've won.
We have won the hand, yeah. But what to do? Bet. I think we should
Yep.
bet because we have good hand.
Bet have good hand, me.
Yeah, there's only
Yeah.
one guy to act here. If there were two, you could contemplate check raise, but yeah, I'd bet bigger.
Yeah, at least half pot, I think.
Yeah. And that's just
Because also
because
queens.
Sam's about to
Yeah, you
say
bet.
queens don't mind the full equity because they're not aces.
Yeah.
What I was about to say.
Falls into that category of needing a little bit of denial.
The upside down money sign? Is that what we say for denial?
Yeah, it's just like a sprinkle of
All
denial.
right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Babes, can
Yeah,
you
Queen gets fold here.
get
It's
the
like, yeah, fine.
ingredients out the fridge for me? No, it's parsley, curly leafed parsley, and a sprinkle of denial.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess what's the hand that is not wanting to bet here? That sort of doesn't. It's sort of that bell curve, isn't it? Where between value owning itself and but also wanting denial and value. I guess maybe
Tens is the
nines or
sweet
eights.
spot, yeah. Like, no, I think tens is like the absolute mandatory must bet, like really happy to
Yeah.
bet, and then eights is like you still bet. Let's face it, we don't ever check eights here, but like it's more of a in theory, like it's thinner. and then yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, Christoph, what we're saying is like, when a hand has a lot of value, it wants to bet, and when it has a lot of denial, it wants to bet. And like tens is like the epitome of like both of those, because like it never loses and it's like the most vulnerable. But everything should bet. There's an overpair here, realistically.
No, but everything, my whole range should bet, no?
No, because like if you have ace queen, like why are you really like? You could bet, but like you don't achieve that much by betting ace queen here, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we just get the sprinkle of denial, but that's not good enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And also, like, you got to think about cutoff's range. I don't know this player type, but on average, I would assume like he has a nice condensed range, which is pocket pair heavy, some broadways like king 10 or something like that.
Isn't he? But he's big blind, right?
There's a cutoff as well, though.
Yeah, cut off and then big blind.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that the cutoff was there. Sorry.
Yeah.
So a bit bigger. Just the bigger you make the pot on the flop, the bigger you can go on turn. The more of your big blinds go into the middle against their, pocket pair, which is just the thing you get loads of value from here. So I think you can just tweak it up with queens.
Yeah.
The question now is, do we still want 3 streets? What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I want.
I kind of
Could I suppose?
I don't know. It's big blind though. I feel like against cutoff they have like way more pocket pairs, like density wise. Big blind has a bit less because they just have random hands completing. And some of them will be ace x. If we've gone bigger on flop, it might sound a bit paradoxical here, Christoph, but can you figure this out, right? If we've gone bigger on flop, I think I want to go for 3 streets for sure. But when we've gone smaller on flop, I'm less inclined to. Why?
The why is easy, because when I bet small, it's gonna call much more weak aces,
Right.
thinking he's more often ahead. Whereas when I bet big, he's calling most likely with pocket pairs.
Exactly. But the fact that you're able to answer that instantly shows how good you're getting, because like a lot of people playing your stakes can't answer that question.
Thanks for the compliment. I guess some things come easier than others, but yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I'm not sure. I see your point, but on the other hand, with pocket pairs, let's say they have 8s, 9s, whatever, juices, 3s. Are they gonna call 3 streets? 3 big streets? I don't think so. Especially when the ace
yeah.
king. Maybe I'm
Depends
wrong.
what size you go.
Yeah, sometimes is the answer. I think I'd check the turn and just like see what happens and then bet the river, probably, like would be my go-to here with queens. If I had tens, I might bet the turn, because now if they have king jack and they fold, I'm happier. But yeah,
if you check here, you're not losing. It's not like you're comparing 3 streets to 2 streets directly. It's kind of, so if you bet 3 streets, you're going to have to go like 50 and then maybe 50 again, or block or something like that at some point. But if you check here on the river, you can often go like B75 or maybe even bigger. So you're getting like 2 and a bit streets, if that makes sense, compared to 3.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you couldn't bet twice big and be happy. So you're comparing checking and then betting big when check to on river with like betting medium twice or small and medium. Yeah.
Quick question. I guess it's a fish thinking process, but not thinking process, but fear. When you see the flop, at no point you think the big blind might have a 7.
You'll find out at some point.
So you bet. Let's say you bet 2.7, they raise to 10, you call, and if they keep aggressing, you fold.
If they normally, if they have quads, at some point they're gonna bet a sort of almost maniac size, because they very often will put you on a full house, so they'll just like go for all of it probably. Well,
and they'll never
often,
bluff with that line. Like they're never going to like take 6-5 and check raise the flop and then like smash the hell out of the turn and shove the river all in. They're just not going to do it in these games.
Yeah, they won't like 20x pot river without like quads.
Yeah.
It's like you'll get to the river and you're like, Okay, I suppose you just got quads.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I would just recommend just getting as much value as you can. That's not to say you can't slow play certain spots, obviously, but when you have, a very high equity hand, high EV hand, I would just keep betting for value until you're told otherwise.
Yep. Great advice.
Especially,
Okay,
yeah.
so if you were the big blind, you could bluff the 7 because the UTG almost never has a 7.
No,
Yeah.
because UTG in your games doesn't fold sevens full of kings, but you will fold sevens full of kings because you're good. But like
Yes,
most people
exactly.
don't, so it doesn't follow that because
Yeah,
the
okay.
spot's never bluffed that you can then rep it and expect fold equity. That's the reason
Yeah.
10 and L players are 10 and L players. They can't fold absolute hand strength even when it's like blatant that they should.
Don't think, don't project your thought process onto others. Like, well, I think I would fold here, so they should as well.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
So you got to say to yourself, if you're the big blind here and you check raise and then you barrel and then you get to the river and you're like, if I jam here, like surely he's going to know I have quads, you know. And I wouldn't think that. I would think to myself, do I trust this guy to fold a full house after betting into two people, calling a check raise, calling a barrel, and then get to the river on like a full, trips board, full
Yep.
house board. That's the
Okay.
question to ask. Do I trust them to fold?
And
There are certain boards I just don't bluff pretty much ever.
that's us
But
talking about like whole pool, right? Like I can tell you from coaching experience that if you take the sub pool of people that have hired me for coaching, right? So what are they? Obviously idiots, but like other than that, they're like very serious poker players, right? Jokes aside, they're like investing in their poker education, their future. They've spent 2K on a package or 1K on a package or whatever of coaching. And then they send me their hands for the week and I pull up this spot. And when the all-in comes on the river and they have queens here after like the flop went check raise and turn went bet, they fold maybe like 10% of the time. Like I see a fold there. And that's from the subpopulation of people that are actually really trying to get out of this stake and beat this game and stuff. They just don't have it. They don't have the skill, the discipline. They don't have the conviction and they don't trust their read enough. They have the read. It's there. They're like, oh god, this is probably a 7. But they don't back themselves enough to be able to overcome the fact that they're folding 7s full of kings or whatever it is. And they call 90% of the time. And that's not even the whole pool. That's people that bought a coaching package. So that should tell you all you need to know about how awful it is to try and make someone fold kings in the spot.
It's really tempting to say that it's obvious that these guys have poor judgment because they hired you as a coach.
Yes.
It was too tempting, I had to say.
You're filtering for people who are already really dumb because they hired me.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ugh.
Cool.
Yeah, purely for the odds. Can't fold third pot. Yeah.
So I can tell you I wouldn't have folded an all-in. I would have called an all-in on the river.
So
you'd called an all-in? Okay.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, right, okay.
So the problem is that he still has 9s and he still has 5s, and you're probably not putting him in those and if you're not putting those hands in his range, it's because you're projecting some kind of non-feralness onto your opponent, and you don't want to project non-feralness onto the opponent. They are merged feral beasts. They're animals.
Okay.
I don't know. To me, I mean, I don't know.
You're being too nice, Christoph. You're gonna say to me they're good, strong poker players that are trying hard and they're clever, but no, they're wild animals.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't. They breathe through their mouths.
So, is it right to say that in this spot they never bluff? But the thing is that the value hands that I have a value beater. That's what
They
you're
don't
saying.
never bluff
Yes.
because they could actually have like, given how small you bet turn, they could actually have like Jack 10 of hearts or King Jack of hearts or something sometimes, but they bluff hardly ever. So it's almost correct what you said, but I would just say there's a slight possibility that they bluff. But yes, the reason you win enough of the time is because they have eights.
You also bet small on 2 streets. So every street of this hand has involved a small bet. So that's not like as much filtering as it feels like. I do even wonder, I could be completely wrong, whether you're like supposed to raise sometimes.
I was closer to raising river than folding river. Like I was I landed on call quite quickly, but I
Yeah.
was between raise and call on river.
I'm gonna look. Can we look it up on GWiz?
It's such a stupid spot to look up on Jeebus.
Well, I mean, if you just do it like heads up.
Yeah. But like it won't be a
Well, I
thing.
can do it. I've
But
got it
it
open
won't be
now.
a thing at any point. Like the donk bet on the river is just not a thing that happens ever.
I'm gonna look.
So I don't know if you get a great result, to be honest. Because there's no way he should ever donk lead the river.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hang on. I'm just trying to do it now. Talk amongst yourselves. Yes, 0%.
Make it the 6 of hearts. Maybe you have some.
No.
I know.
No,
I
no,
guess
no, no, no. You have no lead
3 sevens.
on any card.
Well, I did do a donk. Okay, we don't have queens in this spot. Oh, what's going on here?
Yeah, you also have to like
Oh,
engineer
no,
it.
no, no, no.
Because we've bet bigger on flop probably in like most trees, unless you do a custom tree. I'd imagine.
Hang on, what's going on here?
Right. Shall we do
Yeah,
one more?
it's too ready.
But this,
I mean, yeah. Oh no, I can't see it. It's all fucking. It's all over
yeah,
the
the
shop.
point Sam's making though is that if they pick this size of GTO, in many spots where they are meant to have a betting range, if they use the small bet, it'll be really capped, and then you can raise hands that just look like calls because too many of the better hands go into a bigger sizing. That's the point he's making, I think.
Yeah, I got that.
If he does this with like 3s, 4s, 5s, 8s, 9s, ever, like queens is obviously crushing that part of the range. You just click it.
Yeah.
And they'll just cry call.
Yeah. It's really a special skill playing against people like that. You know from the guy's line that he's very bad at cards. You just need to then ask, what does that look like? And it just, as soon as someone's really bad at cards, the merges all fall into their range at that point. When you play against the fish at the card room and you realize, oh, this person's a complete beginner, they're a complete amateur, you can no longer assign like any polarization really to their actions, especially when they're betting small and medium.
Yeah.
I had a hand today that I played.
Hmm.
This can actually spread throughout like all stakes. It's a slightly different spot, but this is at 1K, right? Button opened. I 3-bet ace king off in the big blind. He called. It came ace 10 8 2-tone. I bet small. He called. It came a queen. So ace 10 8 queen. Offsuit. So the flush draw's still there. Triple Broadway. I checked and he checked. And then a jack came, bringing 4 to the straight, and I have a king for the straight. So it's like quadruple Broadway, missed flush, and I bet 10% pot, right?
Yep.
And he snap called me with 9s for the worst straight.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just like started spamming me like loads of laughing emojis. And like saying, oh, phew, and like all of this, and just kept doing it. And I was thinking, I'm pretty sure he's meant to raise when I B10.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked it up like an hour later, and he's meant to pure raise. So
yeah.
The irony that he's kind of like having a go at me for, you know, oh, you could have bet more and I would have called. It's like, actually, you're meant to raise there, mate.
Mm.
But that's at a high stake, so you can. It's all about range versus range.
Yeah. Right, last hand of the stream, then I've got to go. King 10 of spades, call a big blind 3 bolt.
With 1. No, we haven't actually.
Yeah, I'm not loving the spot. Let's call. Fold? Do you want to fold?
No, I wouldn't fold. Not on double Broadway. Double flush draw.
All right. Well, I'll give you an argument for folding. It's 10 and L. It's a big
Yeah.
blind 3-bet,
Mhm.
and it's 3/4
Yeah, it's
pot.
not looking
And
great.
it's 3/4 pot. I think I'd fold the turn. I'll give you another argument for folding. Like, there's some human filtering at these stakes here where there aren't really balanced players, right? There aren't really people that are like betting turn, giving up river, apart from like some miss flush draws, sure. But like, I think the bigger problem is that if villain's like an aggro maniac, aggro fish, like whatever, tilted, probably going to bet the river and you're probably going to fold. And if he's passive, he's probably just got it too often. I just don't think there are enough players going bet, check with hands you beat in this pool with these stakes. I'd fold the turn. I think this is nitty, but I think I would do it at these stakes against big blind.
Quick question.
Like, really deep here.
Yeah. And that's going to put people off. That's going to scare people like more than it's going to do anything else in these games. It's hijack big blind as well. How bad is it in GTO to fold this hand?
I wouldn't fold in game. I know.
I want to wizard this one actually. I wonder how bad this is to fold. How much of a deviation?
Christoph, you were going to say something there.
Yeah, the 3-bet was a tiny bit small. Is this something to take into consideration or not?
Yeah, I think so. It's something like, it's not irrelevant, but yeah, it's he didn't go really big, but it doesn't mean he's capped necessarily. He might not do that with aces. He might just have a standard size for like all of his hands. But yeah, if he does go like 13 or 14 pre-flop, then I'm even more worried at this point.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did. I think I folded, but I'm not sure.
I really like if you folded. I think it's really hard
I'm
to
not
do,
sure,
and it's like I do think it's a fold of a lion personally. I just think your realizability. I just think your EV is less than 30% of the current pot, like in that spot. If you call, it just feels that way to me in these games. Right, what am I doing? I'm trying to find a sim that would like give us a bit of pre-flop only 200 big blinds deep. Yeah, are we?
Give us a bit. Yeah. Yes.
Right.
In fact, exactly. I would say.
Ash drop none. 200 big blinds deep. Simple. Right, let's build this, guys. Let's build this. Do we have wizard on here? Here we go. And it was hijack, big blind, call, solve with AI, and the flop texture was 7 of clubs, 10 of hearts, 5 of hearts. How big did he bet on flop? He bet half pot. Be 50.
Which is a bit more capping.
Maybe. Maybe not. But yeah, it's not irrelevant, like you say. I might change my mind here, by the way, when I look at this. 3 of clubs.
You mean once you've looked at GTO, you say, okay, maybe I will change my mind?
Well, yeah. If
you sound like me. You sound like me now.
If it's a big deviation, I don't think it will be. I don't expect it to be a big deviation at all. But if it was, then I might be like, okay, I'm not confident enough, right? But I don't think it will be.
I don't think there'll be any fold in theory.
I don't know if there'll be any fold, but like it might not be a huge EV deviation. Okay, so he went 75 on turn.
I think it would be quite a big loss in theory.
Let's see. So it's not folding. It is folding jacks and queens though. So there you go.
There's no redraw. There's no redraw.
True, but it's a very important thing to point out, right?
And is it folding it mainly with the like clubs and hearts?
No, it's just kind of indifferent with it. Let me change to strategy EV though. 6.43
Is that
big
that's big
blinds.
blinds,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, the redraw makes a big difference, like being able to hit those extra outs with the 10. And these are blocking bluffs more as well, like jacks and queens. It's interesting though, right? That queens and jacks are already folding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would never have thought that.
six big blinds. That's more than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think enough about the redraw and the fact that we're unblocking all the bluffs with this hand. And I didn't rate
And
this
is
hand highly
he-
enough in terms of its calling properties. I might still fold, honestly, in this pool against big blind. Yeah.
But also, conversely, Paul will be betting too many flush draws, probably.
I don't know about that.
Let's have a look how many of them it's
They're meant to bet these hands almost always.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because how else are you playing them at the stack depth? You can't check jam. So no, I think they're underdoing it with flush draws. Because they're pure.
Can you isolate them?
Well, just have a look at the bottom right as I hover here. They're all pure.
Okay. What about some of the lower ones, like the Jack X? No.
They're also meant to
So they
check.
don't have many of these bands.
They're also never meant to have jacks, and they're meant to check queens. I feel like they have jacks and queens here all the time. Yeah, I think I would still fold, even seeing that it's a 6 big blind deviation. I think I'd still want to make it against this pool. But some people would say I was insane. But like percent pot wise, it's not as much as it feels like the pot's getting bigger. But the thing I learned there was that like jacks is terrible compared to king 10. I mean, I kind of know that, but I didn't remember it.
And this is just because of the redraw.
And the blockers, when
maybe.
you have jacks, right, and you have like you're usually going to have either a heart or a club because only one of the combos of jacks is spade diamond. So with the other 5 combos, you're going to be removing loads of flush draws, which are villain's primary bluff in this spot.
Okay.
Interesting.
What happened?
What a cool spot. Yeah, let's go back to the hand. Called.
I did call. Okay.
Folded the river. Yeah, I like the river fold.
This is a bet that's like, I have a good hand, but I hope I'm not beaten.
Yeah. And if you raise, I won't believe that I'm beaten anyway, even though you're telling me that I am. Yeah, really good.
So
I'm prepared to. I'm only prepared to part with some money, but I will also part with all of my money.
Yep. I'm only.
So you mean this is a fish? That's what you mean?
No, this is a 10 and L player.
No, not necessarily.
10 and L player.
No.
Like to me, they're all fish, but Sam would say that only the fish are fish at 10 and L, and I would say they're all fish.
But how would you like? Let's say he has
It's all relative.
queens. What would you do with his hand? With from his point of view, with queens?
It's fine what he's doing, but it doesn't make sense to like put in only this much and then like put the rest in if he gets shoved on. So if he gets shoved on, he's going to be against 7s, 10s, or 5s, like pretty much always.
Okay, so I rewind my question. With queens, you would bet fold them.
Yeah.
But you can also check when there's 2 busted flush.
Depends what queens you have, right, as well, to some extent.
Yeah. If you have diamonds, spades, for example.
Yeah, that's a good hand to check river with, for sure. All right, guys, thank you so much. That was an awesome hand to finish on. Awesome discussion.
Interesting.
Thank you, guys.
Christoph, any last words for the stream before we leave you for a week?
No, just that next week would be interesting when we get the hands.
Are we playing more 25 and L, I take it?
No, only if I get back to the necessary bank.
But we could look at your shot that went badly, right? We could look at your 25.
Yeah.
How much did you lose?
10 buy-ins in a couple of hours. Great, right?
Okay. I mean, do you think you're good enough to play 25 and now?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a question for Pete, really, isn't it?
I think
But,
you are.
If I knew the answer, I would. I mean, it's really hard. I find to be honest about oneself.
I definitely think you are.
I think if you're, I think you should play whatever stake you're good enough to play. If money isn't, an issue. I mean, but
Maybe, but
having said that, there is like the mental side of losing 10 buy-ins and going to like, because when you shot take. Sorry, Pete, I know you want to
Sorry.
stop. When you shot take, like it is a big thing, no matter what stake you're playing. But yeah, and losing 10 buy-ins is like an instant kick in the nuts. Quite a few kicks in the nuts, to be honest. But if like technically, if you think you're able to profit from it, like you should just try and forget about losing 10 binds and just keep playing it.
no, I agree with that. But it's just I like also trying to, like you said, money is not a huge issue, but I like to
The journey. You like the journey. You want to level up.
the journey of having my bankroll and sticking to it and not going bust with that.
It's like a bankroll challenge rather than like just
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. If people are
Well,
doing
where
it
do
for
you wanna
that
get
reason,
to?
it's fair. Sorry, Sam.
What's your goal? What's your goal?
Just to improve at the game,
Yeah,
see how good I can become.
fair.
I like it, and the day I won't like it anymore, I'll stop. If it happens. It's
They will
just-
say that.
What do you mean they all
I'm
say
joking,
that?
I'm joking. Nice. Okay, cool.
All right, guys. We'll see you next Friday for more and more from me. Earlier next week than that. Check out Carrot Corner. Use code Crush20. One word for 20% off all of our stuff. And have a lovely, lovely weekend. Bye bye.
And we want your graph. The community wants your graph, Pete.
My graph. But you want it now,
Yes.
or you want it when it's like actually reputable?
We want it every week. Every week we want an update.
Okay. What we could do is when we do the 4-table streams, we'll do the session graph. I don't know about the medium sample graph. I always feel a bit iffy about that, but I can show it. It's doing well if you guys really want. But I was thinking about a couple of 100,000 hands maybe, get up to that, and then be like, boom.
That's decent. Yeah. What are you on now?
60.
Okay.
Takes a while at this pace.
200.
Takes a while.
200 is good.
Takes a hell of a while. Yeah, the only reason, Christoph, I'm not a fan of 60,000 hand graphs is it's the kind of sample that people think is big and isn't. And we get a lot of posts on Discord where people are like, oh, the Carrot Poker School changed my game, and then they post like 5,000 hands. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, I would stick to your guns. I would just be
But
patient.
Christoph's pressuring me.
No, but of course it's not relevant, but we still want it.
Yeah, I get it.
We don't care that it's not relevant.
I get it.
We want it.
I do get it.
It's like when people want to see the hands. What did villain have? We don't care, but we still want to know.
I get it. All right, I'll give it some thought, and